Yeah.
BeamerForum.com and BeamerOdds.com, boys. What is going on? Welcome back to the lobby episode 109. How's everybody doing today? Donnie, what's up, buddy?
Feeling good. We're in that summer months now, or at least technically, is it officially summer yet? Like, are we
2 days away.
officially in summer?
I think 2
Summer.
days
It's
away.
summer.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
June.
exactly.
It's
The
summer.
summer solstice coming up here for us with the longest day of the year. Then it automatically gets shorter. Like, it feels like it's supposed to build up to like late August, but it actually doesn't. Those days start to get shorter shortly, but it is hot in the Northeast, but also it's hot temperatures there for Major League Baseball. And Sam probably likes it. The Yankees finally started to hit today with a win. My goodness, man. I love it. Hot weather, ball travels. I'm in. Let's go, boys.
Definitely a lot of fun. Reload, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, speaking of hot weather, here at the pool stadium swim, wow. I mean, we got the College World Series on the TVs. We got the WNBA even on the TVs. Wow, you really know it's summer when that's going on.
Yep. Ain't that the truth? And last but not least, Mr. Sam's in charge, smoking it up live and during the show.
Beautiful
Wow.
afternoon. Got out of work early. 85 degrees. It's actually going to be one of the cooler days of the next week. Supposed to hit the mid 90s next week in upstate, plus the humidity. I'm happy I got moved into finance. Got my own, AC office. Don't have to go outside, get inside the hot cars that are, baking in the sun at 120.
Right.
Pull them up. Go through a couple pairs of socks in a day, so I'll be nice and cozy in my office. And going to be enjoying the summertime. Getting ready for the track season to open up in a couple weeks. Going to head down to Saratoga.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. How's the new position going so far, Sam?
It's going great. Just picking up right where I left off 8 years ago. So if you're getting right back into the flow of things, I like being in control. Everyone looks up to me. I'm in control of deliveries. I'm in control of the other salesmen as far as making sure they're organized. A little bit more respected now that I'm in my mid 30s. A lot of younger guys out there. So it's good. It's good to be back. I was kind of bored. It's kind of funny to say. I was bored being the top salesman because I was the top guy for 3+ years. No one was really challenging me. It was the same routine. I just did my job, but now I'm challenging. I got new goals, new challenges, new responsibilities, new tasks. So I like it. It's good to be back.
Awesome. Glad to hear that. And Sam, since you brought up weather, it is hot outside, but Donnie, what do you keep your house at this time of year? I mean, me personally, we have a system where it's one AC controls one part of the house. And then I have an AC in my room. Believe it or not, in my room, it is a cold 68 degrees right now.
Nice.
And there's a ceiling fan going. I like it cold. I read a study the other day, Don. It said that when you sleep in colder temperatures, you actually lose weight. I don't know how true that is.
Ooh. Yeah, I love that idea. But it's such a hot topic because I've met people that have differentiating, stances on this. But my stance is like in the summer during the day, I will set my house to 72 degrees. That's upstairs. It's 2 zones. So one upstairs, one on the bottom, and then the basement, which is always a tomb anyway in the summer, which I think is fantastic. But at night, it's got to be cold. Like I have to be under multiple blankets just to be able to sleep. So at night, I set it to like 66, 67 degrees. And then when I wake up, I just shoot it up to 72. The minute I get back in my bedroom tonight, goes right back down to 67. I need it to be cold at night to be comfortable. Just the way it is.
Same here. Reload. What do you think?
Yeah, 72 for me. Really, any place I've lived, that's always worked best. Year round, 72. Just leave it at that. Hey, if you've got to put it up a degree or down a degree once in a while. But, that works, and we go through all kinds of weather here. I mean, same as Donnie and Sam. And,
right.
That just works for me.
Sammy, your thoughts?
Yeah, I have a ranch house, so it's 1 floor plus a finished basement. I'm like you, Bobby, so I keep my fan running 24/7, 365. So even in the winter time, I have a fan going just for the noise. I'll have it facing the wall or something, but just for the noise when I go to sleep.
You need the noise. You do.
And then, I'm like you, Donnie, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Even in the summertime, I'm sleeping under multiple blankets. But my house actually is perfect at 69, no pun intended, but 69 is the right temperature in the summertime.
Of course it is.
Of course.
It is.
You know what? It's also something to aspire to. So, it's a great temperature and it's something to aspire to. So multiple satisfactions there. And then in the wintertime, I keep it at 70, 71. So it really differentiates between 3-4 temperatures, degrees, but just being in the single floor, that it's the right time. It's the right temperature. What's up, Ivy?
Oh, you need to get that in there, didn't you?
Well,
Donnie, let's jump over to you. Let's talk
Yeah.
some day baseball. Got games already underway, but how's it been so far? And what do you got for the nightcap?
Yeah, good today. Was able to squeak out one. I've been doing some alt team total parlays, which are usually juicy, like -110, -115. Today I had one at -160, and it hit. The New York Yankees needed a couple runs, got them. Last night they burned me, but the afternoon day was nice because it was fading pitchers that aren't very good in hot environments, like taking a game in Cincinnati, 77-degree temperatures, wind blowing out dead to center field. Loved Minnesota to just get 3 runs. I believe they got double digits today. The Yankees at home, 90-degree temperatures, wind blowing out. I thought eventually they would break through. Bad pitcher on the mound. They broke through with 7 runs, but actually needed 11 innings in Washington and 90-degree temperatures and the wind blowing out, and a 2-out, 2-run home run to get a 4-3 victory here to give me the 3 runs that I needed. So it was nice today, but I really love the Atlanta Braves tonight. Spencer Strider's on the mound, 13 strikeouts, no runs in his last performance. He was sensational there. The Mets are on a downturn right now. It's a cheap price. It was $125 this morning. It's actually up to $140 now, and I still trust the $140. I really like the Atlanta Braves to pull off the sweep against the New York Mets.
All righty, Donnie. Good luck. Sammy, let's jump over to you. MLB, what do you got?
Yeah, the Yankees finally break the streak. First, it was 3 games, almost 30 innings without scoring, which they did last night, but unfortunately they lost. JDS, I super apologize if you were watching this. The chalkiest bet last night for over 100,000 parlay. That is heartbreaking and demoralizing. They did obviously come back to win today. Yankees have a great streak on Thursdays, and whenever we do a podcast, they seem to win. Obviously had them. And then I'm with Donnie. I do like the Braves tonight over the Mets. And then the other one I like is Houston over the Athletics.
All right, Sammy, thank you. Reload, over to you. How's baseball been for you so far? And what do you got tonight?
Good with baseball. Been doing well with the picks on the show, too. And tonight I like the Phillies Marlins under 7.5 runs. So I took a look at this one. I like the Phillies, but the lumber is a little too much for me. The under looks a lot better at under 7.5. Sanchez, 9 strikeouts in his last road start, only allowed 2 home runs on the road, with one of them being in Colorado. So I think he brings it here again tonight. And on top of that, the under is 7-2 in the Phillies' last 9 spots with a total of 7.5 or less. So looking for another under here to cash, under 7.5, Phillies Marlins.
All righty, reload. Thank you. Donnie, let's go over to you. Let's talk a little bit about the Shedeur Sanders case.
Yeah.
You got a guy who gets a speeding ticket going 20, 30, however, over. You think you would learn your lesson. The night after his court appearance, he gets another ticket for going that fast. I mean, what is he thinking here?
I mean, I don't know what he's thinking. He's thinking he's the number 1 overall pick in the draft, and he can do no wrong at this point, realizing he dropped in the draft because of his attitude situation and is now a 5th-round pick looking to fight for a job in the NFL. Not saying that we do stupid things when we're young at 23, and speeding is one of those. It's like, hey, man, you can't go that fast. They go, oh, yeah, by the way, 2 weeks ago, he also was going basically just as fast and did not show up for a court appearance. They said they spoke to the Browns. The Browns spoke to Shedeur Sanders. It won't happen again, but we understand this, right? You're supposed to do right when nobody's looking. Basically saying to myself, let me just be a good citizen and show you how much of my work ethic is going to pay off, and I'll be your starting quarterback in Cleveland. Does it mean he's going to be he's a bad guy? No. Does it mean he's not going to work out in the NFL? No. It's just not a good look. And sometimes image is everything, specifically when you're trying to get a job on a team to be the starting quarterback and show that organization, I can be the face of your franchise. It's just not a good look.
No, not at all. But Donnie, you made a good point there. I mean, he is still young. He's got a lot of, unfortunately growing up to do. But you touched on a good point there. You make a lot of mistakes when you're younger. Donnie, without getting into details, what's one of the biggest ones you made and what you learned from it?
Oh, biggest mistakes. It's funny that because I didn't get caught for this mistake, but it taught me a lot. And I've told this story many times. Like being in high school, young and stupid and 17 years old. Went to a house party with my mom's car, 1 or 2 a.m. I am drunk as a skunk and ended up driving home, which my house wasn't that far away, a mile and a half. And I remember getting home and waking up the next day, be like, that was the stupidest thing that could have ended my life, somebody else's life, or even if I got a DUI, like your life gets thrown down the drain that early. That was the dumbest mistake I ever made that I didn't get caught for, but taught myself a lesson. How about that?
Wow. Reload. Let's jump over to you. Your thoughts on Sanders, and then same question for you. Dumbest, maybe not dumbest, but most thing you did when you were growing up.
Yeah, I'd say, well, he's on track to being the next Johnny Manziel, I think, with with these kinds of things going on. Yeah, I think he needs to hire maybe a life coach or something like that. I don't know what's going on with him. Wow, as far as biggest mistake growing up, wow. I can't really think of one offhand, but I'd say maybe getting married. There we go. That was probably
Very
yeah.
good answer, Reload. Thank you, Sammy. I'm anxious to see you are blazed as fuck. I'm anxious to
Great.
see your answer to this question, and let's talk a little bit about Sanders as well.
Well, Sanders, I mean, with all the controversy for Cleveland, he should be probably the highest paid quarterback in the NFL in reality, right? Because that just goes true to the franchise of Cleveland and what they think of their quarterbacks. I mean, it's following Deshaun, following Johnny Manziel, and they love that stuff there in Cleveland. So that'll probably help his chances to get the starting quarterback role. But I mean, yeah, I've driven 101 miles per hour once in my life. But I wasn't in a supercar, and I wasn't. Obviously I got lucky and didn't get caught. But yeah, I mean, I'm like
Right.
Donnie. I was young and I was in a frat and I drank and drove all the time. And I was the designated drunk driver. I think I drove home from
We've all
Plattsburgh,
been
which
there.
was like 2 hours, 15 minutes when I was Sammy Claus, probably in like horrible, definitely was falling asleep a couple times. So yeah, made some bad decisions. Been arrested, did 3 weekends in jail for some
Really?
shit. So yeah,
Huh.
made some decisions, but life moves on, and now I'm a successful business manager.
Yeah. Very, very nice. Donnie, let's jump over to you. Let's talk some NBA Finals.
Yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying the NBA Finals. Not very many people are, according to the ratings at this point, but hey, you're missing out some good games in a game number 6 tonight. And as a fan, right, forget about your betting strategies. Wouldn't it be nice, though, Sunday night, game number 7, settle in on the couch, get ready to go with Sammy and like Reload and me on the East Coast, 100-degree temperatures, probably no better place to be than inside at that point. But for me, it's hard. This is the first game we're actually worried about an injury situation, which we didn't have for the first 5 games of the series. Tyrese Halliburton, will he play? Will he won't play? He's going to play, but the question is, how effective is he going to be? And the line's certainly moving accordingly. The line opened up around 5. We see it as high as 6.5. Now it's dipping back to 6s at most of the marketplaces here. The total, which was 224 at half at the opening number, saw it as low as 221.5. That number is starting to go a little bit higher. Oklahoma City is the better team, but there's something about this Pacers team. I still don't think the Pacers are going to win the series, but I got to tell you, I think the public is jumping on, OKC, no Halliburton, or Halliburton's injured. This should be a victory tonight. I really think that the Pacers have a good chance to stay within that number, if not win, even if we don't get a fully 100% Tyrese Halliburton. It's such a tough game to gauge, but for me, if I'm looking at Halliburton, that number went from 14.5 to 13.5 to 12.5 now as his points prop. And when a guy is injured, we don't know how long he's going to play, or even if that calf flares up in the first quarter and he doesn't play again, I still would lean to the under 12.5s and 13.5s in the marketplace for Halliburton tonight.
All right, thank you. Tammy, over to you. NBA Game 6. What do you like tonight, and how's the series been so far for you?
Yeah, Donnie hit the nail with the player prop. I had that in my notes as well for lean towards Halliburton under 13.5. I mean, historically, he had one of the worst games ever last game, which they can blame on the injury. But then if he's playing tonight, well, then you can't blame the injury on game 5, especially if you're coming back. And you know why he wants to come back, because he wants the moment. He thinks that he is him. He thinks that he is the MVP, even though the real MVP is Pascal Siakam on that team. So I look for his player prop to be over 21.5. If you look at the 5 games in the series, he had 1 game at 15. Okay, that happens. The other 4 games, he had 19, 20, 21, and 28 last game when Halliburton didn't really perform. So at 19, 20, and 21, that's 1.1 basket away from hitting the over. Last game, he hit the over. So I like Siakam to get over 21.5, and I like to go with Halliburton under 13.5. I think those are 2 good player props to look at on this game.
All righty, Sammy. Thank you. Reload, last but not least, NBA Finals Game 6. What do you got?
Yeah, been a good series. I've been calling it kind of the stick and move series, meaning jump in, take the Pacers in game 1, jump back out, kind of wait a while, pick the spots carefully, and it's been pretty good. I I think the Pacers will hold their own tonight. You know, we'll go back to 2 weeks ago when the series started. We talked about it. I talked about Rick Carlisle's coaching making a difference. I think without him, they're probably not even in this at this point. Series probably be over already. So I think they come up with something here tonight. I just don't like the number. I do think we're kind of being taxed a little too much on it because it's a must-win game and all that. So I think the better value is the under 222.5. And if you look at the series, both games at Indy went under, and both games in Indy went under as well. So I think in order for Indy to try to win this and stay alive, they're going to have to bring the defense, and that's going to make it go under. They got to hold OKC, I'd say, to under 110 if they can, and that's why we're looking under 222.5. I'm going to go that way.
All righty, Reload. Good luck. And boys, your last and final shot to get your hands on a Tournament Champions ticket. Poker event number 12 will be coming sometime either this week or early next week. You know, I've gotten people say to me, well, I've already cashed the Tournament of Champions ticket entry. Why should I keep playing? There's no point. The point, you play again, you get into the top 5, you get another ticket, which essentially eliminates another body from that Tournament of Champions main event. So it's helpful if you get a ticket, play each and every week, and that's less competition that you're going to have the final events. I hope to see everyone there. But Sammy, I want to jump over to you, and I want to talk some Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. They recently got a raise. They were making about $400 a game. Well, originally they were making $200 a game. Then in 2019 they're making $400 a game, and now, according to a new Netflix series, they are now going to be making a 400% raise to $1,600 per game.
Ooh.
That still seems crazy low for being Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, the most famous cheerleaders like of all time. They have like a reality show based on them. They're making $400 a game, so now they're making $1,600. So what? They have 8 home games, so they're making like $8,000, $10,000. That seems like nothing. I'm kind of shocked at that number for Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. I mean, yeah, I mean, I think they should still be paid more than that. That seems kind of weird to me. That seems crazy. I mean, I guess good for them for getting more money. Shout out to them, but I still think they're underpaid.
That does seem crazy because that doesn't even account all the the practice time and everything else that that they got to do. So that's wild to me. I know. Donnie, let's jump over to you. NHL Finals. What do you think, Florida Panthers?
Yeah, look, impressed. You go 3 straight times to the Stanley Cup Finals, go back to back, and who's to say they can't win it again? You take a look already at the odds for next year. It's the Carolina Hurricanes slightly ahead of the Florida Panthers, which is crazy to me because all Florida does is continue to win. And the questions would be what's next for Edmonton? Back-to-back Stanley Cup Finals, best player in the world, couldn't get it done. A lot more pressure on him. Only 1 year left in Edmonton under contract for Connor McDavid. Then he'll probably be the highest paid NHL player in the history of the sport. But who is actually going to pay him that? Does he want to stay in Edmonton? But I can't be more impressed with Florida. They were absolutely outstanding all the way through that playoff run, even with the adversity of being down against the Toronto Maple Leafs coming back. They were the clearly better team in the Stanley Cup Finals. It was a great Stanley Cup Final. And again, as a fan, I was hoping we got back to Edmonton for game number 7. But come on, man. Give the Panthers their due. 3 straight cup runs with 2 cups. That's amazing.
Exactly. It very much is.
Yeah.
Sammy, your thoughts on the Panthers? And by the way, you see they damaged the cup already?
Yeah,
it busted.
I saw they were traveling around the neighborhood, waking up all the neighbors and just like waking them up. They're like, I kept ringing the doorbell. But yeah, I mean, Florida in reality could have won all 6 games. I mean, the 2 games that they lost where they were up 3-0 after the first period, ended up losing that, and then I think actually both games they lost were in overtime. So I mean, they easily could have won 4-0. So great to make it 6 games, but it's kind of ironic because 3 years ago, Brad Marchand had the breakaway in game 5 to win the series, and then said it went to overtime. Florida ended up coming back to make it to the Stanley Cup. Now Brad Marchand is on Florida winning, and he was probably the second MVP for that team. He had such a great great series. But yeah, I mean, how can you not say that Florida is one of the top favorites going into next season? You always got to make the defending Stanley Cup champion the favorite, or one of the top 3 favorites, especially their second team is as good as their first squad. So short off season and then a few months off, and then we'll see them back in September, October, and get ready to go again.
All righty, and Reload. Last but not least, your thoughts on the Panthers run?
Yeah, it was a great series. I had the Panthers some of those games, and I always like at the end when the team they were up like 3 goals, and the Oilers tried to pull the goalie down. What was it, 3-0, or down by 3, and it just blew up in their face like right away with the empty net goals happening. And yeah, if you had Florida in that last one, boy, you were just loving it. And even the under still came in. Even the under 6.5, even with all the empty net goals. So it was a fun series. And now with the NHL over, you can shift to the WNBA to fill the void too. So here we go, right?
Here we go. And Sammy, last but not least, let's talk some tennis. How's the threat looking, and what do you got for us?
Yeah, we're 2 weeks into the grass season, which is the shortest season of the year, and then they go right back to the hard court. It's only 5 weeks. It's 2 weeks right now, and then there's 1 week next week, obviously, and then the 2-week Wimbledon. It's clay court is 10 weeks, so they should at least make it like 7 to 8 weeks. I don't know why it's so short. I understand it's grass, but they're in Germany right now. They're in London right now, so you can probably extend it a little bit longer. But yeah, right now we're +5 units on the grass, or +4 units on the grass court. And Sinner and Coco Gauff both lost in their respective tournaments, their first match back after winning the French Open, and then they'll take next week off, and then they go again right into the Grand Slam. Sinner will be okay. He lost to Alexander Bublik. If it was best 3 out of 5, we would have seen obviously what would have happened. But best 2 out of 3 right now. Coco losing. Grass isn't her favorite surface, so she won't be the favorite. Sabalenka will be the rightful favorite. She's still going. Alcaraz barely survived, but they're the rightful favorites. It'll be Alcaraz, who's the 2-time defending champion. Sinner, who lost in the quarterfinals last year to Medvedev, who has a lot of points to defend. He's slowly dropping in the rankings, but it'll be Alcaraz, it'll be Sinner, it'll be Djokovic on the men's side.
All righty, Sammy, thank you. And thank you each and every one of you for tuning into this episode of The Lobby, episode 109. We will see you on the forum, and good luck with all your plays.
Yeah.
See ya.